Hey, if you were in your office and you heard an ice cream truck drive past your window, how likely would you be to grab your chair, throw it through the window, and hop out the window to grab yourself an ice cream? Probably not very likely, right? And in this video, I'm going to explain from a psychological marketing perspective why that is. So check this out. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to speak at and attend the Savant ECommerce Conference. And there's a couple other speakers there that really captivated me. And they were Ben Wise and Darren Chiu. And they work at Google, but they also have their own business called Captivate. And what these guys talked about was the FOGG Behavior Model. And what the FOGG Behavior Model does is it compares, contrasts how motivated you are to do something versus how difficult it is to make it happen, okay? So in that example that I gave you of throwing the chair through the window to get the ice cream, that's not something that you would probably do because it's really hard, right? You got to grab the chair, throw it through the window, break the window, climb through the window, and then the really hard part is explaining and fixing things afterward, right? So that's not something you would probably do because your motivation for that ice cream isn't high enough for the work involved to make it happen, through the window method. But let's change the motivation to some degree. Imagine instead of hearing an ice cream truck out your window, you saw smoke coming through the door into your office. Okay, so now the rest of the building is a blazing inferno, and the only way out is through the window. So how motivated are you now to grab that chair and throw it through the window? Probably pretty motivated, right? And so what does this have to do with sales and marketing? Wow, you need to look at your audience and understand, one, how motivated they are, and two, how difficult it is for them to take the action that you want them to take, okay? So as a compliance specialist, as Dr. Robert Cialdini would say, as a compliance specialist, what you need to do is you either need to increase their motivation. So that is talking to them, expressing the pain points that they're having, and maybe expressing, the joy on the other side of having your thing, increasing their motivation. Or you can decrease the level of difficulty for achieving what it is you want them to achieve. And so maybe that's something as easy as lowering the price, right? It might be hard to pay a higher price, but it's obviously easier to pay a lower price. Ben gave a great example of how Hudson's Bay could improve their sales process by making it easier. He was going to go buy a suit jacket, and it was super hard for him to do because the way Hudson's Bay separates their clothing, right? They separate it all by brands. So there was a couple of brands of suit jackets on one floor and then more brands of suit jackets on the second floor. So it was really hard for him to go from, floor to floor to section to make a buying decision. And so because it was so hard for him to make a buying decision, then he said, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to buy. Had Hudson's Bay made the process easier by putting all the jackets in one area, then he could have compared them side by side. It would have been a much easier process, and he probably would have bought a jacket. So think about that. Think about your sales process. And is there anything that you can possibly do to make it easier for your prospects to buy from you, right? If it's an online e-commerce situation, is it a multi-step process where they have to jump through all these hoops in order to make the sale, make the purchase, or is it a much simpler, smoother process? Anyways, I just wanted to share some of my takeaways from the e-commerce event, and just give a shout out to Ben and Darren for their amazing presentation on the FOGG Behavior Model. If you are interested more about the FOGG Behavior Model, you can just go to behaviormodel.org, and you will find the FOGG method there. And there's also a few interesting videos, 1 minute only. There's short videos, makes it easy to consume, where you can see the FOGG method in action. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think about what would be required for you to throw a chair through the window to climb through it. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye.